My jealous sister-in-law spoofed my email to insult clients, but after I created a fake company as a trap, she fell for it and got caught instantly. Last October, I thought my biggest worry was a looming promotion. Then an email I never wrote landed on a client's desk, and the first thread of a much darker family secret began to unravel. I'm Rachel, a 30-year-old female who works in digital marketing. I've worked in this field for roughly 10 years, beginning as an intern right after college and gradually working my way up. I currently work as a senior marketing manager for a mid-sized agency that manages campaigns for technology companies and startups. Years of long hours, weekend projects, and ongoing learning of new platforms have led me to where I am now. I've won a few industry awards for campaigns I've led, and my employer has suggested that a director post would open up next year. My brother-in-law, Paul, 34, married Noah, 28, about 4 years ago. Paul is my husband Neil's younger brother. Becky used to work part-time in a dentist office performing administrative work before they had children. She stayed at home with her 2 children for around 3 years. During family gatherings, she always seemed interested in what everyone did for work, but she paid special attention to asking me extensive questions about my career. At first, I assumed she was simply making conversation. She'd inquire about my day-to-day tasks, the software I used, the clients I dealt with, and how I got into marketing. I was delighted to share because I enjoy talking about my profession, and I suspected she was considering a career move. Noah has always needed to be the focus of attention. During family dinners, she would stop talks to share long stories about her children or gripe about other neighbors and friends. Paul would simply smile and nod along, but I could see other family members were growing tired of her relentless need to dominate the conversation. Noah announced her return to work approximately 7 months ago. She had taken some online digital marketing classes and gotten a junior position at a small marketing business across town. The entire family, including me, was thrilled for her. I complimented her and offered to help if she ever had any concerns about the industry. She seems grateful at the time. That's when things got weird. Noah started asking more specific questions regarding my work. She wanted to know which firms I worked for, what my job title was, how much experience different roles required, and even the specifics of my company's customer acquisition strategy. I still answered her questions since I assumed she was only trying to learn from someone more experienced. Then her attitude toward me entirely shifted. At Paul's birthday celebration in October, I stated that my team had recently signed a significant client. Noah's expression turned frigid, and she mentioned how some individuals got lucky with connections. When I mentioned that the client reached us after viewing our work online, she abruptly walked out in the middle of the session. 2 weeks later, Noah wrote on LinkedIn that she was delighted to begin working with her new company's strong client list. She shared an article about digital marketing trends and commented on how pleasant it was to work somewhere that prioritized talent over politics. I'm probably reading too much into it, but it seemed like a dig at me and my company. I learned from Paul that Noah had accepted a job at Hartwell Marketing, which is one of our main competitors. I sent her a note congratulating her on her new role, but she never responded. Neil claimed I was overthinking things, but the entire atmosphere seemed odd. Everything burst in December. My employer summoned me to his office on a Tuesday morning, appearing very concerned. He stated that he had gotten multiple complaints regarding inappropriate emails that appeared to emanate from my business address. Over the last week, we sent emails to 3 of our major clients and 2 co-workers. I was very confused because I had not sent any strange emails. My manager showed me printouts of the messages. They were written in a way that seemed familiar, but was slightly off. One communication to a client featured quite scathing criticisms of their previous marketing efforts. Another email to a coworker contained disparaging remarks about their presentation skills. The worst one was delivered to our newest client, informing them that their budget demands were unrealistic and their product was dull. The emails were from an address that was nearly identical to mine, but with a little change. My genuine email is rachel.mmichel@creativeedge.com, but these emails were sent from rachel.creativeedge.co. The domain was lacking the M and the com. My supervisor claimed he realized something was amiss right away since the tone was so different from how I generally communicated with clients. Our IT department got engaged and discovered the bogus email account. They also discovered that someone had tried to access my real email account several times in the last month. Security cameras proved that no one else had physical access to my computer, indicating that this was an external attack. While reviewing the bogus emails with IT, I came across something that made my stomach drop. One of the emails stated that our client's product launch timeline was overly aggressive given their little social media presence. This was something I had only said at Paul and Noah's house 3 weeks prior, during Sunday dinner. I had discussed assisting a client who was rushing their product launch, and I especially noted their inadequate social media approach. No one else at work was aware of the full details of this particular client. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the synchronicity was too clear to ignore. I called my cybersecurity friend Jake and asked him to look into the bogus email account. He tracked the IP address and geographical information. The emails were received from Noah's area, specifically a coffee shop 2 streets from her home. This wasn't conclusive proof, but when combined with the inside information revealed in the emails, I was convinced Noah was behind it. Instead of approaching her directly or informing her family, I chose to test my notion. At our next family meeting, I cooked up a narrative about getting a new customer. I informed everyone at dinner that my company had recently secured a contract with a fictitious tech startup named Bluestream Solutions. I made sure to add particular information about this fictitious company, such as their emphasis on AI-powered customer service solutions and plans for a spring product launch. 4 days later, my supervisor summoned me to his office again. Another bogus email had been sent, this time to one of our legitimate customers. The email recommended that they work with organizations who had experience with AI startups, such as Bluestream Solutions, hinting that our agency was behind the times. That was all the proof I needed. I told my boss everything, even my doubts about Noah. Our legal team logged all of the bogus emails and blacklisted the false email addresses. They claimed they could take legal action, but I asked them not to. I did not want to cause a major family conflict over what was essentially an unsuccessful attempt to harm my reputation. My manager was extremely supportive throughout the entire process. He said that the false emails made Noah appear worse than they did me, because anyone familiar with my work would understand that they were not written by me. He further said that this type of behavior occurs more frequently than people think in competitive businesses. I never challenged Noah directly about his emails. She was particularly silent over Christmas dinner, scarcely making eye contact with me. She departed early, claiming that one of the children was feeling sick. Paul later informed Neil that Noah had quit her position at Hartwell Marketing without providing a valid explanation. I learned from a recruiter acquaintance that Noah's name was already raising warning lights in our local marketing community. Her prior employer appeared to be examining some dubious conduct before she resigned. They thought she was exchanging secret client information with competitors, but they couldn't prove it. My career has actually improved since the incident. My boss promoted me to senior marketing director in January, and I now oversee our largest client account. Meanwhile, Noah has been unemployed for 3 months and does not appear to be actively looking for work. The thing that has been plaguing me is whether I should have told the family what actually happened. Part of me believes Noah's career issues are the result of her own actions, and I don't need to get involved. But another part of me worries if my silence makes me complicit in some way. Neil believes I did the right thing by avoiding family conflict, but he is also dissatisfied with Noah's behavior. Paul appears utterly unaware of what his wife was actually doing. He just continues stating she's stressed about going back to work and that everyone should be patient with her adjustment period. I'm not searching for vengeance or attempting to harm Noah's career. She's already done it herself. But I also don't want the family to think I'm to blame for her current unemployed. Noah has always been good at playing the victim when things don't go her way, and I'm concerned she'll start blaming me for her job woes. Should I inform Paul and the rest of the family what really happened, or should I simply let Noah deal with the repercussions of her own actions? I don't want to be the person who destroys family connections, but I also don't want to be held accountable for something I didn't do. Update 1. Thank you everybody for your feedback on my original post. Many of you thought I should have told the family right away, and to be honest, I was starting to believe you. However, recent events have persuaded me that keeping silent was probably the best option. The family relations have deteriorated significantly since my last post. Noah has been unemployed for about 4 months, and instead of accepting responsibility, she has manufactured a completely new version of events, in which I am the villain. It began roughly 2 weeks after my original post. Neil and I went to his parents' place to celebrate his mom's birthday. Noah was there with Paul and their children. I knew something was amiss from the moment we went in. Noah's sister, Amanda, 26F, was also present, and she gave me the coldest look I'd ever received from a family member. Throughout supper, there were strange moments of quiet when I spoke. Noah's mother inquired how work was going, and when I responded it was busy but excellent. Noah snorted and rolled her eyes. When Neil asked what was wrong, she said that she did not want to start anything on his mother's birthday. After dinner, I overheard Amanda conversing with Neil's cousin in the kitchen. She was expressing her disappointment that someone in her family would undermine another family member's career simply because they felt threatened. When I entered the kitchen to assist with the dishes, Amanda stopped chatting, and both women made excuses to leave the room. Neil approached Paul later, and we learned what Noah had been telling everyone. According to her version of events, I had been hurting her career from the start because I was envious of her early success in the profession. She alleged that I exploited my connections to propagate rumors about her work performance, and even persuaded my company to poach potential clients from her firm. The most ludicrous aspect of her argument was that she claimed I was sabotaging her because I was threatened by her natural marketing ability. She told the family that her superiors at Hartwell Marketing informed her that I had been contacting around to several firms, warning them about the quality of her work. None of this was real, but Noah had enough basic understanding of the industry to make her lies seem plausible. Paul seems to believe every word of it. According to Neil, Paul was furious with me but did not want to make a commotion at his mother's birthday. He informed Neil that he wanted me to apologize to Noah and assist her in finding a new employment to make amends for the alleged damage I had caused. The problem worsened during Easter dinner last month. Noah arrived looking fatigued and discouraged. She wore an outdated sweatshirt and barely spoke throughout the meal. When asked about her job search, she would simply shake her head and indicate she was considering her alternatives. Neil's mother approached me after dinner and asked what I could do to assist Noah get back on her feet. She acknowledged that professional competition could be strong, but family should come first. She suggested that Noah and I sort things out and even support each other in our jobs. I was so stunned that I couldn't answer appropriately. Neil's mother was basically asking me to remedy a situation Noah had created via her falsehoods. I responded non-committally, hoping Noah would find something soon, and then spent the remainder of the evening sitting silently in the corner. Neil was infuriated when I told him what his mother had said. He finally approached Paul, asking what Noah had told everyone about me. Paul detailed the full fake narrative, including how I had allegedly been working against Noah since she first entered the marketing business. Neil informed Paul that the entire tale was impossible because I had been nothing but supportive of Noah's job shift. He pointed out that I'd never said anything derogatory about Noah to anyone in our family, let alone strangers in the industry. Paul became defensive, claiming Neil was simply being loyal to his wife, but he knew what his wife had told him. The meeting concluded with Paul stating that Neil and I were no longer allowed at family events until I apologized to Noah and repaired the professional damage I had created. Neil advised him that wasn't the case, and that Paul should examine the chance that his wife wasn't telling the truth. Since then, we have been virtually cut off from the majority of Neil's family. His parents are still talking to us, but they are clearly uncomfortable with the scenario. Amanda has been posting passive-aggressive messages on social media about family devotion and supporting one another during difficult times. She's also posted pieces regarding workplace bullying and professional envy. The irony is that despite all of this familial conflict, my career has managed to thrive. I received another promotion last month, and my new director position came with a substantial salary rise. My employer has been discussing the possibility of adding a larger office next year and has asked me to lead the expansion project. Meanwhile, Noah has still not found a new work. According to Paul, she has been applying for jobs but has not received any interviews. He informed Neil's parents that the unfavorable references from our industry network have made it impossible for her to obtain work. I've been tempted several times to tell the family the truth about what Noah did. I have all of the evidence from the false email inquiry, including IP address data and a timeline that show she was behind the attacks on my reputation. But Neil keeps reminding me that proving Noah incorrect won't necessarily convince the family to believe me. They've already decided to accept her version of events, thus offering facts may make me appear overly defensive. The most difficult part is witnessing Neil deal with being cut off from his family. He has occasional chats with his parents, but they are difficult. His mother continually asking when we're going to work things out with Noah, as if the solution is solely up to me. Neil has been amazing throughout this. He never questioned whether Noah was speaking the truth, and he's been my staunchest advocate with his family. But I can tell how much it affects him to be apart from his parents and brother. I'm beginning to think that being silent was a mistake. Noah has had months to develop her victim narrative, and it is now so established that the truth may not matter. The family has decided that I am the evil guy, and they appear to be content with their decision. Part of me wants to let Noah continue to tarnish her industry name while I work on my own. But I hate that Neil is suffering because his family chose to believe lies about me. I'm also worried that Noah's conduct may worsen if she continues to experience professional rejection. At this time, I am unsure of the best course of action. Do I present the evidence and risk appearing vindictive, or should I continue to let Noah's actions speak for themselves? Update 2. I can't believe I'm back with another update, but but things have turned out differently than I expected. Those who urged that I simply allow Noah's lies to catch up with her naturally were completely correct. Noah appears to have chosen to try her hand at marketing again about 6 weeks ago, using a slightly different moniker. Instead of Noah Chen Williams, she began applying for jobs as Noah C. Williams. I only found out because of what happened after. A project manager from another marketing agency called my office asking for me. She stated that she needed to verify some details concerning a portfolio sample supplied by a job candidate. The candidate had listed me as a professional reference and presented what seemed to be one of my published papers as her own. My assistant forwarded the phone to me, and I was utterly bewildered. I informed the project manager that I had not lately granted anyone permission to use me as a reference. She then revealed that the candidate's name was Noah C. Williams, and she had submitted an article I wrote about social media crisis management as part of her portfolio. I published the piece in a marketing trade publication about 8 months ago. It was based on a campaign I managed for a client who needed to rehabilitate their brand image following a product recall. The article contained particular case study information and strategic ideas that were totally my own work. I informed the project manager that I had never worked with Noah professionally and that she did not have authorization to use me as a reference. I also confirmed that the article was my work and included links to the original publication and my byline. The project manager thanked me and explained that they will handle the problem internally. She stated that Noah had interviewed well and that they were considering her for the role until this situation arose. They were obviously unable to proceed forward with her application. I thought that was the last of it, but then something else happened that truly triggered the floodgates. Neil's cousin Melissa, 24F, works in human resources at a separate marketing firm downtown. She had recently begun job seeking, and I had assisted her in updating her resume and practicing for interviews. Melissa called me 3 days following the reference verification episode. She was virtually yelling on the phone about how she realized Noah was using my name incorrectly. Apparently, someone in Melissa's professional networking circle suggested seeing Noah at an industry event. Noah introduced herself as a close colleague of mine and had been using my name to gain credibility with other marketers. Melissa was terrified because she knew the truth about how supportive I had always been of Noah's job move. She immediately began asking around in her network about Noah's job applications and learned that Noah had claimed to have worked on several projects that I had actually completed. Here's where things get extremely messy. Melissa informed her mother of what she had uncovered. Her mother is Neil's aunt. Within 2 days, the entire extended family learned that Noah had been caught lying about her professional credentials and illegally using my name. The family's reaction was not what I expected. Rather than being upset with Noah for her dishonesty, numerous family began to wonder why this was all being revealed now. Amanda commented on Facebook about how handy it was that these charges surfaced just as Noah was attempting to re-establish her career. Paul first defended Noah, claiming she was either misinformed about industry standards or made unintentional mistakes when networking. But when Melissa showed him the evidence from the agency where Noah had submitted my piece as her own, he couldn't dispute what had occurred. Noah responded by claiming that she had made terrible decisions because she was desperate to find work, but that her desperation was caused by the toxic work climate I had created for her in the local marketing community. She said she was forced to misrepresent her background since my negative influence had already turned prospective employers against her. When that reason did not work, Noah tried a fresh strategy. She explained to Paul that she had only used my name and work since she thought we were close enough professionally that I wouldn't object. She stated she had planned to inform me about it once she had settled into her new work. Paul called Neil to see if I would overlook Noah's faults and perhaps even provide her with a genuine reference to assist her get work. Neil told him no, and emphasized that what Noah had done may have gravely harmed my professional image. The conversation between Neil and Paul became heated. Paul accused Neil of prioritizing his wife over his family, and Neil responded that Paul was asking him to condone his wife's dishonest behavior. Paul hung up on him, and they have not spoken since. The ripple effects have been significant. The agency where Noah plagiarized my work has added her to their internal do not hire list and informed their industry connections. 2 additional companies have discreetly dropped her from consideration for jobs she sought for. Noah now claims that I planned a campaign to blacklist her from the whole local marketing business. She has been telling everyone who will listen that I utilized my professional connections to ruin her career out of jealousy and vengeance. The family is now divided into definite camps. Neil's parents are attempting to remain impartial, but they have ceased asking us to huge family gatherings to avoid confrontation. Amanda and a few other relatives have totally accepted Noah's victim narrative. Melissa and a handful of the younger relatives are solidly on my side, having experienced Noah's deception firsthand. I still haven't notified the family about the first email spoofing event, which occurred months ago. At this time, I am not convinced it would make a difference. Noah has demonstrated an unwillingness to accept responsibility for her actions by lying and manipulating others. My manager has been made abreast of the problem, which involves the unauthorized use of my professional identity. Our legal department has documented everything, in case Noah attempts to elevate her accusations that I harmed her career. The craziest aspect is that all I've done is protect myself and tell the truth when asked. Noah has caused this entire issue via her own actions, yet she has managed to persuade half of the family that I am the aggressor. Neil and I have begun to spend more time with my family and our friends. It's been a comfort to be around folks who understand my personality and don't believe insane conspiracy theories about my professional actions. I'm eager to see how long Noah can keep up her victim play, especially as more people in the industry become aware of her dishonest activities. The marketing community here is small, and news spreads quickly about untrustworthy individuals. Update 3. This will be my final report because the matter has essentially resolved itself, albeit not in the way I could have imagined. 3 weeks ago I attended a small networking event for marketing professionals in our city. The local marketing association hosted an invitation-only event for senior-level industry professionals. I had been looking forward to it because it provided an opportunity to meet with possible clients and partners in a casual situation. About halfway into the event, I observed a familiar face standing near the registration booth, talking to other guests. It took me a moment to recognize Noah. She had somehow gotten into this invitation-only gathering and was actively networking. I watched from across the room as she approached various groups of individuals. She was quite active and cheerful, clearly attempting to build connections. I observed she mentioned my name in a few conversations, stating we had collaborated on various projects. Jennifer, one of the event organizers, approached me approximately 20 minutes later. Jennifer works at the agency where Noah plagiarized my piece months ago. She inquired if I was aware that someone at the event claimed to be my former colleague. I informed Jennifer the truth about my relationship with Noah, including the earlier plagiarism issue. Jennifer's expression shifted drastically. She stated that Noah had registered for the event under the name R.C. Williams and had listed credentials, which Jennifer now recognized were most likely falsified. Jennifer excused herself and went to speak with the other event organizers. Within 10 minutes, 2 organizers approached Noah and requested to talk with her discreetly. I couldn't hear the talk, but I noticed Noah's body language become protective and furious. Noah was gently told to leave the event. As she was led away, she gazed at me with utter loathing. Even from across the room, I could see she was blaming me for her discovery, despite the fact that I had not told anyone about her existence. The following day, the marketing association sent an email to all event attendees informing them that an unwanted guest had been ejected from the previous evening's gathering. They reminded everyone that these gatherings were only open to recognized industry professionals, and that future attendance would involve additional verification procedures. This incident appeared to be the final straw for Noah's trust in our local marketing community. Jennifer later told me that word traveled rapidly about Noah's dishonest actions. Several agencies have formally marked her name in their applicant tracking systems. The familial turmoil has been fascinating to see. Paul finally appears to comprehend that his wife's professional issues are completely her own fault. Neil's parents sent us an awkward message, expressing their hope that we could all overcome our recent issues. Amanda has ceased making passive-aggressive social media posts regarding family loyalty. Noah herself has gone utterly mute. She is no longer active on social media and has not attended any family reunions since the networking event incident. Paul informed Neil that she has been seeking for positions outside of the marketing field, but those applications have been unsuccessful. Melissa informed me that Noah had also been inflating her qualifications on applications for non-marketing positions. She claimed to have management experience and superior technological talents that she did not truly have. Potential employers discovered these enhancements via background checks and reference checks. Paul has been performing the most of the childcare and household management while Noah has stayed at home. He appears fatigued whenever we meet him, and he has ceased defending Noah's actions. Last Saturday, during Neil's father's retirement celebration, Paul apologized to me for the strain his wife had created. The extended family has gradually resumed normal relations with Neil and myself. Nobody publicly apologized for believing Noah's falsehoods, but the cool treatment and passive antagonism have ended. Most family act as if the entire conflict never occurred. My working life has steadily improved. The director role I indicated in my original post became official last month, and I now lead a staff of 8. My boss's growth project is moving forward, and I'll be relocating to another city next year to manage our new office there. Neil and I have accepted the truth that our connection with Paul and Noah will never fully recover. Paul still appears to blame me for not assisting Noah when she was failing professionally, as if I had an obligation to support someone who was deliberately attempting to harm my career. Noah has effectively isolated herself from the family circle. She no longer attends events, and when she does, she only greets people briefly. Paul makes excuses for her absence, but everyone knows she's avoiding situations in which she could face the consequences of her lying. The most significant lesson I took away from this event was that sometimes the best way to deal with someone's poor behavior is to just protect yourself and let their actions speak for themselves. I never had to expose Noah or defend against her attacks. She harmed her own credibility by escalating dishonesty and poor decisions. I also learned that while these kind of confrontations can be resolved, they permanently alter family connections. Neil's family will always remember this incident, even if they pretend it never occurred. Trust takes years to develop and seconds to break. Noah depleted her credibility and professional chances in less than a year. She moved from being a bright rookie in marketing to being almost unemployed in the sector. None of this was caused by anything I did to her. It was totally the outcome of her own decisions and actions. I'm not sure what Noah's plans are right now, and I honestly don't think about her much anymore. Neil and I are focused on our future transfer and the new prospects that await us. We've established a good life together, and we won't let someone else's destructive actions disrupt it. For anyone in a similar scenario, I recommend documenting everything, protect yourself professionally and avoid family drama. Sometimes the best retribution is simply living a good life and allowing dishonest individuals to face the natural consequences of their conduct. Final update. I didn't want to post again, but something happened last week that I believe provides a satisfactory finish to this entire affair. Neil and I were doing some last-minute shopping at a grocery store near our old neighborhood before we moved next month. We met Paul in the produce section. He was alone, which was uncommon as he and Noah usually shop together on weekends. Paul appeared exhausted and older than his 35 years. When he noticed us, he stopped for a time, as if he was unsure whether to acknowledge us or not. Neil said hello first, and Paul responded cordially, yet coldly. We talked briefly about Neil's new work in the city where we're moving. Paul inquired when we were leaving and expressed his hope that things would go well for us. He then paused and explained that he wanted to tell us something. Paul explained that Noah had been suffering from worry and sadness since losing her work. He stated she had been visiting a counselor, but he didn't say what they were working on. He explained how the counselor had suggested Noah accept responsibility for her role in the professional challenges she had encountered. Paul then stated that Noah revealed to him that she had made some terrible judgments while attempting to establish herself in the marketing sector. He didn't say exactly what she confessed to, but he admitted that her account of events wasn't totally correct. He didn't apologize explicitly, but he did acknowledge that he understood why Neil and I had isolated ourselves from their family. Paul expressed hope that they would someday be able to rebuild a connection with us, but he acknowledged that this would take time. Neil managed the conversation far better than I would have. He told Paul that we appreciated him reaching out and wished their family the best. He did not seek a specific apology or attempt to rebut what had occurred. Neil simply accepted Paul's acknowledgement and stated that we may possibly reconnect in the future when everyone was in a better place. Neil told me after Paul went that he was disappointed with the outcome of everything. Regardless of what Noah admitted or denied, his relationship with his brother was unlikely to remain the same. Too much harm had been done to the family dynamics. Melissa informed me that Noah had started working part-time at a retail business while he was purportedly seeking for office job. She is no longer looking for marketing gigs, which is probably a good thing considering her industry reputation. Melissa also said that Noah and Paul were having marital troubles, although she did not go into depth. As our transfer date approaches, our extended family has begun to reach out to us again. Neil's parents welcomed us to supper last weekend, and the discussion was relatively normal. Noah was not addressed, and no one brought up the previous year's events. Amanda even messaged me asking for my new address so she could give me a housewarming gift. She didn't apologize for her prior behavior, but the gesture felt like an admission that she was mistaken about the circumstances. Looking back on all that transpired, I am pleased with how I handled it. I maintained my professional reputation without compromising my ethics or falling to Noah's level. I let her actions speak for themselves, rather than attempting to dominate the story or push the family to take sides. Noah's professional self-destruction was all her doing. I never contacted potential employers about her, created stories, or attempted to harm her reputation. She accomplished all of this on her own by choosing to engage in fraud, plagiarism, and dishonesty. The family initially preferred to trust her lies rather than confront the reality about someone they cared about. However, the facts became too overwhelming to ignore. Noah's practice of dishonesty went beyond her confrontation with me, and others saw flaws in her tales. Neil and I are thrilled with our new location and the opportunity for a fresh start. I'll be supervising the new office expansion, which is a fantastic chance for my career. Neil got a terrific job with a company in our new city, and we're both ready to leave this drama behind. I don't expect Noah to ever fully accept responsibility for what she did, and that's great with me. She will have to live with the repercussions of her decisions, and they appear to be severe. Her marriage is in trouble, her profession has ended, and she has secluded herself from the majority of her family. Paul will have to decide whether he wants to repair his connection with Neil, but that is not my duty. I did nothing wrong in this circumstance, other than defend myself from someone who was actively attempting to destroy my career. If you've been following this narrative from the beginning, you've probably learned that dishonest people will eventually expose themselves if given enough rope. Noah could have had a fantastic marketing career if she had concentrated on developing her own abilities and reputation rather than attempting to undermine mine. I never had to establish my innocence or defend my reputation because my work and character spoke for themselves. Noah, on the other hand, had to keep up an increasingly sophisticated web of lies, which eventually broke under its own weight. Neil and I begin our new chapter next month in a city where no one knows our tale. We're both grateful for the chance to move forward without the weight of family strife hanging over us. Sometimes the greatest solution is to simply walk away and let toxic people deal with the disaster they've caused.